What's up, guys? Welcome back to High Gain Guitar Academy. I'm Neil, and you have arrived at Neil's Warm-Up 2. If you've gone through the other videos, we did Neil's Warm-Up 1. This is 2. This is after 1. This warm-up is a little bit more focused on the things that I actually play on the guitar before going into a performance or whatever. We're going to focus on consistency and speed and stamina. I'm going to just alternate pick an open E string. You know, for a few seconds. I'm gonna palm mute and alternate pick. And the idea here is gonna be the timing, consistency, right? And just staying on the beat. So let's do this for, I don't know, 5-10 seconds without breaking. The idea is that I stayed on tempo. I didn't grip the pick too hard, so I'm not wearing myself out. It's really about consistency and stamina. So that's the idea with that. Now, I will also do the same thing on the other strings. It's always a good idea to do it on the little E because it feels so different. And also, it's a great idea to do it on the high frets because as you hold the higher frets, the string is now shorter and that changes the tension of the string. So it changes how much movement there is from the string under your pick. So let's try it on some high frets, on the big E and then the little E. You should practice it on the E, A, D, G, B, E, all the strings. Great way to get your picking hand moving and work on your timing, okay? Once you're warmed up on that, I like to do some stretchy scale kind of things, some stretchy things. So the pinky is such an important finger to guitar. Not only do we stick it out when something is fancy, but we also use it to reach the high notes. So I'm gonna use this shape. I'm gonna play the 12 of the little E with my pointer. Then I'm going to use the 15 of the E with my middle finger and then stretch all the way up here to the 19 of the little E with my pinky, okay? So we have these three notes. So I'm gonna play 12, 15, 19, 15, 12. I'm just gonna go in a loop, going up and down using alternate picking. I'm stretching my hand out. I'm also working on my timing and my picking. So it's combining the first bit of the warm-up with a new piece, right? I might do some other kinds of shapes as well, but the idea is stretching your hand out. Another thing I like to do is what I call repositioning scales, okay? So repositioning in my head, and you guys may call it something different, but this is my video. So it's basically where I do a pattern and then bring my pointer, reposition my pointer to a higher fret, so then I can go a little further, reposition my pointer, go a little further. So it's just kind of like spider crawling my finger up the neck, staggering my notes so I can climb. I'm gonna start on the 2 of the A, followed by 4 and 5. But now my pointer is going to reposition. I'm gonna bring it up and bar the 4 of the D and the G. From there, 6 and 7 of the G. So basically I've just copied the same shape. So from there, I'm going to reposition my pointer again to the 7 of the B and little E. I'm going to bar those. And then 9, 10 of the little E. That's the shape. It's like a repeating octave kind of deal. So now that I've been working on that repositioning technique, I might add in some other techniques to keep up in the game. So maybe I'll add in some slides and do something like this. Again, my goal here isn't to show you guys specific licks. It's just to give you an idea of the techniques that I'm using to kind of warm up my hands. I also like to run through some sweeps and arpeggios. I'm no sweep master, that's not like my strongest suit, but when you need them, you need them, so I do have a couple shapes I like to use. I'll give you an example of that. Another important technique that you gotta have in rock and metal is tapping. And tapping, you have to really be pretty precise with your tap hand because you're just placing it on these small frets, typically these higher frets, right? So I like to combine some hammer-on pull-off things with the fret hand as well as the tapping with the right hand. Here's an example on the little E string. You can also work your tapping into scales, like sometimes I'll add tapping into like a descending scale like this. And the final thing is really just getting the shred out. You know, sometimes you just got to work on that alternate picking and running through some licks from scales and things and just build your speed and accuracy. So here's one that I like to use. If I can get myself up to this point to where this sounds good, then I feel like that's when I'm ready to go on stage. So here you go. That sort of thing. It's just a lot of alternate picking. I'm using the pentatonic scale. Now you may have noticed I'm also using barring. That can really be your friend. Sometimes you need to move the pointer finger string to string for clarity, but sometimes if you can bar with your pointer and not have to move it so much, you can cut milliseconds off of that time. So that's a big chunk of how I warm up before shows. And it may vary depending on what I'm warming up for, but between Neil's warm-up 1 and this video, Neil's warm-up 2, I feel like you get a pretty clear view of what I use all the time playing for pretty much any artist. So take it, love it, learn it, use it. See you next time.